You can set up AX to add charges automatically when you buy or sell an item. Before you set up and assign automatic charges, you can create and set up charges groups. These allow you to group similar items, customers, or vendors together so that the same charge can be added to many different orders. Charges groups are optional. Charges groups are used for the automatic setup of charges. This is because they classify items, customers, or vendors into groups for which the same charges will apply. The groups are available for selection in the Auto Charges form, and when orders are then created for those groups, the charges are automatically calculated and applied to the order. There are three kinds of groups: customer charges, vendor charges, and item charges. Charges groups are useful when a company has charges that apply to certain customers or groups of customers. Vendor charges certain fees on all orders, or one or more items are associated with one or more customer or vendors. Let's open AX and create some groups and see how you can add charges to an order automatically. So I'm here in AX. Let's start by creating a customer charge group in Accounts Receivable. We'll go to the Setup group, and then in the Charges folder, we'll open up Customer Charge Groups. I'll create a new customer charge group called Bulk. And give it a name. Now that I've created the customer charge group, I must link it to one or more customers. I'll do this under Accounts Receivable, Common, and then All Customers. I'll select the customer I want to link this to. For my example, I'll choose Cave Wholesales, and then click Edit in the Maintain group. On the Customer Details form, I'll find and locate the Charges Group field, which is located on the Sales Order Defaults Fast tab. Here, in the Charges Group dropdown, I'll select the new Bulk Shipments Charges Group that I just created. Next, I'll show you how to create an Item Charges Group. I'll go ahead and recalculate the credit limit for this customer since I modified some settings. To set up the Item Charges group, I'll go to Inventory Management, and then underneath the Setup group, I'll select the Charges folder and then Item Charge Groups. Here, I'll create a new Item Charge group for large items. Now that I've created the Item Charge group, I must link it to one or more products. This is done on the Release Products form, which is found in Product Information Management. We'll open the Released Products form, and then we'll select the item that we want to use. For this example, I'll select this keyboard, and then click Edit in the Maintain group of the Action pane. The Charges group is located in two places on the item. You can find it on the Purchase tab, which is used for automatically generating charges for a purchase order, and you can also find it on the Sales Order tab. I'll link the large item to both the Purchase and Sell tabs. Now we're ready to create an automatic charge. To do this, we'll go back to Accounts Receivable and open the Auto Charges form, which is found underneath Setup, Charges, and then Auto Charges. Here we'll click the new icon to create a new auto charge. It's important to note which view you are looking at when you create the automatic charge. If the level is set to main, you'll be creating an automatic charge that will be added to the header of the sales order. If you select line, the charge will automatically be added to a specific line. For this example, let's select line and then click New. On the right-hand side, I need to select which account and item combinations the charge code will be used for. So I'll select the account code group and then choose the group that we just created for bulk shipments. For the item code, I want this charge to apply to all of the large items, so I'll select the group, and then in the item relation field, I'll select large items. You can also select which delivery codes to apply an auto charge to. For example, this is useful if you have a certain delivery charge for overnight. You could set up a charge code that's specific to that particular delivery code. You can also create groups for your mode of delivery and then select those. This is done from the Delivery Charges Group form. This is a new feature in AX 2012. Once you've created the combinations of which items, customers, and modes of delivery, you can click the Add button in the Lines Fast tab. In this particular example, we'll make the charge in US dollars. In the Charges Code drop-down box, I need to select which fee I will be adding. So I'll select the one called Freight. In the Charges Value field, I'll type in the value. For this particular example, we'll do a fixed value, but other options exist, such as pieces, percent-based, intercompany percent-based, or external. For my example, I'll do a fixed amount of $150 US. Now that I've created the auto charge, I can go create a new sales order and generate an automatic charge. So let's close this window down and go to the Sales and Marketing module and create a new sales order. Underneath Common, we'll open the All Sales Orders form and then click the new icon to create a new sales order. It's important that when you're testing this, you use the same customer and same item that you made the setup for. So I'll select Cave Wholesales and then click OK. Then you'll want to select the item number. I'll choose the keyboard, update the quantity, and update the unit price. After you've updated the unit price and quantity and line information, you can go ahead and view the charges for this particular order. This is done underneath the Financials button and then Maintain Charges. Here you can see the freight charge of $150 was automatically added to my order. Next, let's talk about how tiered charges can be set up. You can define charges that are applied automatically to a sales order based on the order total by defining the from amount and to amount in the auto charges form. You can set up tiered charges that determine the charge to be applied at the order header level. The charge is calculated and applied when you click the Tiered Charges button in the sales order form. Any existing tiered charges that no longer apply are removed from the order header and replaced with the new tiered charges. Charges that have not been applied based on tiers, such as charges for specific items or modes of delivery, are not removed from the order header. It is possible to define and apply tiered charges only at the header level. Let's create a tiered charge and then apply it to the sales order. So I'm here in AX and I'm going to go back to the Accounts Receivable Auto Charges form. This is found underneath Setup, Charges, and then Auto Charges. I'm going to create a new charge called Standard. And I'll link this to all customers. You'll notice that the All Item Code option is selected and grayed out, so I cannot choose which items the header charge will apply to, I can also select which modes of delivery the charge will apply to. Now down in the Lines Fast tab, we'll click the Add button to add a tiered charge. I'll select the charges code. In this case, I'll use the one called Other. And then in the Charges Value field, I'll type in the charge. For this example, I'm going to type in 50. I'll maximize the screen so we can see all of the columns. Here, I want to set a From and To amount. These amounts are referring to the order total. So, for this particular example, we'll say from $0 to $100. Then I'll add a second line with the same charges code, with the charges value of 75, where the amount is from 100 to 250. This means that when the order total is in between these amounts, the higher charge will be added to the order. If the amount is less than $100, the lower amount of $50 would be applied. Let's create a sales order so that we can apply this. We'll close this form and go back to Sales and Marketing, and then create a new sales order. We'll do this in the All Sales Orders form. I'll click the New Sales Order button, select the customer that I want to use, and then click OK. I'll add an item to the order. I'll actually choose a different item than we used in our last example. I'll use the t-shirt item that we created, enter the quantity, and verify the unit price. I'll need to make sure that I select a warehouse. For this example, we'll buy 100 shirts. This means that the price is $375. Currently, if I were to press the Tiered Charges button, no charges would be applied because it is above the last tier. So I'll reduce the quantity to a lower amount, such as 50, so that it falls between one of our tiers. Now you can see the amount is $187.50. So what I need to do is click the Cell tab in the Action pane, and then click the Tiered Charges button in the Calculate group. In this case, you can see that my customer is exceeding their credit limit, but the tiered charges have been calculated successfully. If I close this window and click the Charges button, I can view the charge that was added. You can see that the $75 charge was added to my order. Now that we've finished setting up and reviewing how to add tiered charges, please join me in the module review.